So thank you very much for joining me in this video. The last 2 or 3 weeks we've been looking at some alternate options for rental income. We started out, of course, with our standard rental of a single family home or a duplex or a triplex or a condominium and so on. We looked at those, and that's the backbone of our Money Machine seminar and our investment package. But then we looked at things like student accommodation. That's a specialty type of rental that can be very lucrative if you handle it right. And then we went on from there to look at Airbnb. I want to take a look today at another kind of a niche market, if you like, and I'm going to call it executive suites. This is where the property is configured very much like an Airbnb. By that I mean you will be looking at a single family home, not a duplex or a triplex. It could be a townhouse, it could be a condo, or it could be a 3-bedroom brick bungalow for that matter. But it will be fully furnished. And when I say fully furnished, I mean exactly the way you'd expect it to be if it was home. You're going to have your cutlery, you're going to have your dishes, you're going to have your cooking utensils, you're going to have your bedding and your towels, and of course all your furniture is there. So when you walk in the front door, it feels like you're walking home. But unlike an Airbnb, here the number of bedrooms is not a factor or a consideration. Remember when we looked at Airbnb, you needed the more bedrooms, the better. People are looking at how many people they can accommodate. Here that's not the factor at all. You're aiming here at the executive, but the short-term executive or the executive that's being brought in as a consultant. And he may be here for 2 or 3 weeks, he may be here for 2 or 3 months, he may be here during the week and home on weekends. This is a specific person that you're targeting and filling a need for. To understand the background of the need, let's take a look at what the options are in the commercial marketplace for people who need temporary lodging. You've got the motel. The motel's for the guy who's traveling down the highway. He needs a clean place to sleep, and that's all he needs. So he doesn't need a lot of amenities. He wants to be able to get to bed, get up in the morning, and head on the road again. Then you've got the hotel, and the hotel's somebody who's maybe going to be there for 3, 4, 5 days, and so it's important to him to have some other amenities, maybe an indoor pool, a decent restaurant, and so on. So you've got the hotel. Well, then the hotel owners found that there was a demand for more than that. People who were staying 3, 4, 5 days, they wanted a fridge in their unit. They wanted a sitting area in their unit. And so you had all suites. In fact, a number of the Holiday Inns won't franchise you unless you have a hotel that's configured for all suites because the consumer wants that. 2 of the places that I really enjoy visiting in North America are Montreal and San Francisco. And whenever my wife and I go to either Montreal or San Francisco, the hotels we stay at, we book a lounge level. And what the lounge level is your standard hotel room, but you also got access to a lounge set up like a large living room, if you like. They provide hors d'oeuvres and dessert at night. They provide a pretty decent breakfast in the morning, but they also provide sofas and TVs and tables where you can sit. And when I'm in Montreal, I have friends in Eastern Ontario. We enjoy spending time together. They come down, we go out for supper, we come back, and instead of perching on the edge of your bed, you go into the lounge level, you can sit and play cards, you can sit and watch television and chat in a nice, comfortable setting. And so there's very much of a demand for that, and hotels that didn't used to provide lounge levels now do. Even on a cruise ship. If you go on a cruise, you can rent anywhere from an inside cabin, which is a closet on steroids, to a stateroom that would have a window, or a stateroom that have a balcony, or a mini suite that would have a little more space, a little more elbow room, to a full suite. And a full suite is about a double what a stateroom would be, because you now give you a living room area, probably a double access bathroom, a fridge, a table for eating, in addition to the standard bed and thing you would get in a stateroom. And if they're typically more than double a stateroom, although the cost for the cruise ship isn't double because you're not going to eat twice as much food and drink and so on. But the demand's there. And if you go on a cruise ship and take a look on their website, and you look at a Mediterranean cruise, one of the first things that's sold out are your suites because there's a demand for more than just a hotel room. And so what you've got is a situation where a consultant's being brought in on a work term. He's maybe going to be coming in, as I say, 2-3 weeks and then gone home for a week. He may be coming in for a week and going home on weekends. He may be coming in for a 3-month work consultant and then he's done. But the point is that he's maintaining a home elsewhere. He's not giving up that home. And because he's not giving up that home, it's not practical for him to buy a house, buy furniture, and furnish it here. But when he gets here, if he's here all week, or if he's here 3 weeks in a row, it's not really comfortable or very appealing to sit in a hotel room, even an all-suite hotel room. All of a sudden, with what I'm suggesting, the executive suite, the employer can offer the person being brought in a home. Come on in, go through the front door, kick your shoes off, and you're at home. You've got not only a fridge, you got a full kitchen. You've got a recreation room where you can sit and watch television. You've got a desk set up where you can do work at home if you want to. You've got all the comforts of home. In the summer, you got a patio area and patio furniture. You got a barbecue outside. It's just like being at home. In fact, in some cases, they may bring their wife or the wife may bring the husband, depending who the consultant is, for 4 or 5 days, and they'll spend their time exploring while the other person's at work. And it really is a comfortable option for them, and it's a very much of an advantage or a carrot for the employer where he can offer this. In fact, so much so that in many cases, the employer may want to enter into a long-term contract with you for the executive suite so he knows it's there when he brings somebody in. I've got a friend who's been doing this for some time in Burlington. She's got 8 or 9 of these executive suites. Not only are they all full, but there's a waiting list. There's some advantages of this as opposed to, for example, an Airbnb. You don't have the high turnover. People aren't coming in for 2 or 3 days and then gone again. You don't have the large groups where with an Airbnb, if they've got 8 or 10 people, it makes more sense than renting 5 hotel rooms. But if it's just 2 people, they'll look at a hotel. Whereas here, you're not going to have those large groups, and you're not going to have the liability of parties going on every night. You're not going to fall into the zoning restrictions that Airbnb have. And you've got not quite as good a cash flow as Airbnb, but a much better cash flow than you get just renting it out. Let's take a look at cash flow for just a minute. Let's suppose in your area, and I'm just pulling these numbers out of the air, but let's suppose the reasonable rent for a 3-bedroom bungalow, back split, side split, is $2,500 a month. Let's suppose the standard rent for a standard hotel room is $100 a night. Let's suppose you're going to charge $150. So you charge $150 a night for your fully furnished house, and that would be $4,500 a month. Now, you're going to have some expenses that you wouldn't have if you rented out to a single family in this home. They would pick up the heat and the hydro and the water. You're going to be paying that. You're going to be paying lawn care and snow removal, cable. So you're going to have some expenses. But let's allocate those expenses at $500 a month. They won't be that high, but let's say they are. That means you've got $1,500 surplus as opposed to renting it out on a long-term basis to a single family. And I think you'll find the numbers are more generous than that. Certainly, if I'm coming in on a consultation basis to Calgary, for example, and I'm going to be there for 3 weeks, and I'm given the choice of a full house to live in, fully furnished, or a hotel room, there's no question what I'm going to want. And so it is with all your executives. And it makes sense. You're going to have to give some consideration to practical issues, things like cleaning. I know in some cases, the person who's providing the suites makes it mandatory for the person who's occupying it to bring a cleaning person in every other week. And you'd have to decide, do they pay for it? Do you pay for it? As I say, with Airbnb, the cleaning on a basis after 2 or 3 days, it's built into the price. The person who's renting the unit has to pay for it. And probably here with the executive suite, it's going to be the same way. But those are some of the things you have to give some consideration to. And how do you market it? Before you launch into it, you're going to want to contact some of the major corporations in the area. You're going to contact the hospital, the college, university, anybody who might bring somebody in on a short-term basis, find out what kind of demand there is. And then you're going to look at the possibility of advertising at all suites on a website and see what kind of traffic you can get there. I'm not saying do it. I'm saying it's a very, very valid consideration. And if you're looking at branching out in addition to single-family homes and duplexes and triplexes, and you're considering student accommodation or Airbnb, you want to take a good hard look at executive suites. I think you'll find they make a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing your time on this video, and I'll look forward to talking to you again next week.